need to do is be aware of them and teach others about them. So of course, awareness for yourself is critically important to understand what's going on, but then you need to get others informed about these. And the assessment on dangerous judgment errors in the workplace is a very effective way to do so. It evaluates their extent and impact in your workplace for when you take it yourself and when you help others take it. And it provides next steps for addressing them. It also helps get people invested, helps get them emotionally bought into the process. So right now, I want you to open up the chat. We'll be using the chat for this section of the presentation. So make sure to open up the chat. I'll give you 10 seconds to open up the chat. In the meantime, I will be sharing my screen and showing you the assessment. All right. So you should be able to see the assessment on my screen. Hopefully you've opened up the chat at this stage. If not yet, then you open it up while I'm talking. And you'll see that there are 30 questions on the assessment. Each question refers to a problem that might occur in everyday professional situations. It's not something that's going to be vague. It's not going to ask about the halo effect or the horns effect. It's going to ask about behaviors, clearly observable behaviors that you can see, that others can see, that have to do with challenges regarding resistance to change. And your goal, whoever is taking the assessment, you'll definitely want other people, not simply you take the assessment, but want other people on your team to take the assessment, especially those whom you want to inform about cognitive biases and whom you want to get others informed about cognitive biases and for whom you want to overcome resistance to change. So both people in the HR team who are helping you overcome resistance to change throughout your higher education institution, and faculty, staff, administrators who you're trying to encourage to change effectively. So this should be pretty quick. What you want to do for each question is indicate how often it occurred in the past year as a percentage of all the times when it might have occurred. Don't take too long with each question. It should take you maybe 10 to 15, 20 seconds for each one. So let's go to number 6 first. So number 6, when a potential or current employee was evaluated, in what percentage of the situations was the evaluation too positive due to factors not relevant to their job competency or organizational fit? When was it too positive? So number 6, please chat your answer into the chat in the form of a percentage. Out of all the evaluations, when was it, how much was it too positive? Okay, we see already a large range from 0 to 75%, 80%, 30% to 80%, 90, 60, 60, 80, 75%, 30%, 35%. Let's get a few more, 60%, 75%, 80%. So we see that this is for pretty serious issue. When it's in the 10% range, 5-10% range, it's not a big deal. When it's getting, and of course, you can keep chatting your answers into the surveys, into the chat so that folks know what's going on. But when it's getting into the 20s, that's becoming more of an issue. When it's over 20, into the 30s, that's becoming more of a serious issue. And definitely when it's in the 40s and above, this is something that you really, as a priority, need to address. And this, of course, refers to the halo effect, when you have too positive an evaluation of others due to factors not relevant to their job competency or organizational fit. All right. Another issue that's very relevant to change, resistance to change management, is number 2. So number 2, this will be question 2. Percentage of team conflicts that occurred because someone overestimated the effectiveness of their communication and persuasiveness. So again, what percentage of team conflicts? When team conflicts do occur, which they occur sometimes, what percentage occur because someone overestimated the effectiveness of their communication and persuasiveness? So we see 70, 25, 70, 80, 95, 15, 75, 60, 50%, 70%, 40%, 95%, 75%, 85%, 80%, 12%. Oh, 12, that's very specific. 20, 60, 50%. So again, a wide range. So again, you should know and see what's going on in your organization. And when it's getting into the 20s and above, you want to definitely start addressing it. 30s, that's definitely becoming a serious issue. You definitely want to address this with this issue. So this is a big one. The last one I'll do just so you get a sense of what's going on. This is going to be number 4. Of all situations when someone had evidence that would contradict their beliefs or clear information that would disprove their interpretation of a situation, in what percentage of cases did they ignore the evidence or misinterpret the information? This is a huge one for resistance to change, one of the biggest ones. So let's talk about this. 90%, 70%, 65%, 60%. Let's get a few more. 90%, 50%, 50%, 80%, 95, 70%, so 40, 50%, with 75%. So again, a large range, and the same idea that if it's getting into the 20s, especially if it's getting to the 30s, this is definitely something you want to get information into the hands of all the leaders in your organization to make sure that it's addressed. So we talked about the halo effect. This is number 6. This one, number 2, this refers to the illusion of transparency. When we communicate, we feel with our gut, we're comfortable with the idea that other people are 100% getting our message because we feel we're effective communicators. That's just how it feels to us. That's our gut reaction. Well, unfortunately, other people take in information through their own filters, so they may misunderstand what we're saying. There may also be a technical communication issue. They may mishear what we're saying. And especially in this modern world of Zoom meetings, right? It's very easy to have a technical glitch, mishearing or something, freezing for a second. And so there are lots of, and there are so many other ways where, somebody, let's say if you're writing a message, you might not express tone that you think you're expressing. So they might misread your tone of the message. There's so many team conflicts that occur because of the cognitive bias called the illusion of transparency. Number 4. This is called the confirmation bias. This is what this refers to. So the confirmation bias has to do with the fact that when we look for information, we tend to look for information that supports our beliefs. And we tend to ignore, and the second part of the confirmation bias is ignoring information that doesn't confirm our beliefs. So this is a big one. You'll have a lot of faculty completely blinding their eyes. And I don't want to pick too much in faculty, but I know that this is a major component of resistance to change is faculty members, probably the biggest one that I'm seeing in universities when I consult in university settings and coach folks in university settings. So this is a big, big issue. They're really trying to deny reality, very uncomfortable with new information, very resistant to change. And so kind of falling into the confirmation bias a lot. All right, so you've gone into the chat. Let's go back to our poll. So make sure to go back to the poll. And I want to ask you, how much value do you see in your team taking this assessment? How much value do you see in your team taking the assessment on dangerous judgment errors in the workplace? So please go ahead and vote. And by the way, your team, I mean both your HR team to get other people involved and understanding what's going on, and more broadly, your team in your higher education institution, to your administrators, your faculty members, to get them to take it and encourage them to take it. So again, go back to the poll, the VVox poll, and please vote. We see that we have 86% of the people voting, so it's pretty good. We'll give you 10 more seconds to vote. Please go ahead, 10 more seconds to vote. And I'll again put it into the chat for anyone who needs it, the VVox app. 3 more seconds. Make your opinion heard if you haven't yet. All right. Great. So we see that everyone would find some value in it. That's great. So everyone would find some value in either moderate value or high value. Half of you would find moderate value in it. So if you're finding moderate value in it, and I'll send the assessment afterward to you, you'll get it. Take it yourself and then start sharing it with your HR team. So that's something for you to start doing. Think about doing that within the, certainly take it within, you definitely want to take it within the next couple of days after the presentation. Ideally, ideally by the end of day tomorrow. So by the end of day Friday, you'll want to take it. And then within the next couple of weeks, bring it to your team. Certainly by the end of the month, by the end of November. For those who see high value in it, I will definitely try to get it to you by the end of day, and you'll want to definitely take it by the end of day today. And then by next week, start bringing it to your HR team, try to get everyone to take it, and then try to get your administrators to take it as a next step, and encouraging then faculty members to take it as well. All right, let's go on to the next technique. So this is about awareness. Awareness is, of course, the first step to addressing dangerous judgment errors.